Over the last 20 years working in restaurants, I met a lot of really interesting people. Bourdain called us pirates and misfits, and he couldn't be more right. We really were, I say were, we are a hodgepodge of cultures and backgrounds, and we get to play with food all day, and we get to make a living doing that, and it's pretty damn awesome. This is what Inside the Pressure Cooker is all about. It's about making some new friends and sharing some stories with some old friends. And listen, we all know that life inside a kitchen is not for everyone. We've seen plenty of people come and go that thought they could hack it and they couldn't. It really does take a special someone not only to survive, but to really thrive in an environment of just what feels like complete fucking chaos, but it's pretty damn controlled. And then just the constant pressure and the stupid hours you put in, not to mention it can be a very thankless job. Before you know it, it's all in your blood and it's the only thing you know. And you need more. It's an addiction. This is the bond that all line cooks and chefs share. It's becoming the heartbeat of the kitchen, as cliche as that fucking sounds. But it's in our blood, which means it's fucking pulsing through our veins. And it's what we live for. Hey, quick interruption before we jump on to the rest of this. Two things. First, there's a link in the show notes that, well, it's not really a link, it's my email. Please, I want to hear some feedback from y'all. What do you love? What do you not love? This is how I learn. And the second part, I've set up a Patreon account for this podcast. The link is also in the show notes below. Please, if you're able to, we would love any contribution you're able to support us with. We all have costs that we need to try to cover with this show, and any support would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Chef Eric, 30-second elevator pitch. Who are you?
I am Chef Eric Hasse, father. I'm a chef, and I'm a patriot. And that's pretty much it.
All right. How old are you kids?
16, 10, and 2.
Well, you're covering the gamut there.
Yeah. Papa was a Rolling Stone.
So tell me then, how long have you been cooking? What got you into it?
I've been doing this forever, man. I mean, we moved to Massachusetts when I was like 8, I think. And we took over my family's taxi company. And mom was working and stepfather was working. And it was a phone call, on like a phone on the wall that you had to like answer and be home for. And this is what you're doing. You're making meatloaf. And I'd get the whole thing. She'd read me a recipe. You writing this down? You're writing this down? And I would do it. And I enjoyed it, and the more that went on, I kind of fell in love with it.
That's fine. When did you realize it was going to be a career?
Oh, Jesus. I kind of switched permanently to it being a career about 17 years ago. I was going to go to the Army. We found out that my ex was pregnant with my oldest son. And things just kind of shifted gears. I always tried to like stay out of the cooking business because I thought if I did it every day, it would ruin it for me. Like it wouldn't be, I wouldn't get as much enjoyment out of it.
Oh, there's truth there.
And like I grew up in a house, like, my father owned 3 delis. He worked himself to death. He was a shitbag, whatever. Like he wasn't around, and it was what it was. And I thought if I like worked in the industry, it would just make it all tainted. But it actually became quite the opposite.
I can understand that. It's almost one of those like you didn't want to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So right now you're cooking, you're a Sioux, and you're in Farmingdale, New York. Mm-hmm. You've been out in the East Coast the entire time?
Yeah. New York, I worked in the city for Danielle Ballud. Um, shit. You know, a few restaurants here on the island. I was in Boston for a little bit, and then last November I came back to Long Island,
Okay.
and you know, dug in back here.
Now, were you at Barbalud?
No, I was at DBGB's.
Oh, nice. I like that
It was
place.
our commissary was you open the front door to the commissary and it's the back of like the iconic CBGB's like punk rock bar.
Yeah. I've a few trips I made to New York. I actually ate there, I think twice. So I like the feel to it.
Yeah, it's a different animal now though. The city has just become just disgusting.
Oh, the city.
The city has just become disgusting. Yeah, and so many like this whole COVID thing like just ruined so many restaurants there. Like Michelin star restaurants are shutting down. It just became abysmal. And that was like the tough time in Boston. Like I left there to come down here because at the end of COVID, with all the restrictions and everything, like nobody could offer the pay, nobody could offer the hours, and
Right.
everything. Like you know, rent moratoriums were up, and it got insane.
Yeah, I don't know how restaurants. I mean, it was impossible for so many places to survive and pay people because restaurants aren't exactly known to have like large vaults of cash just hanging
Yeah, exactly.
around waiting for this stuff to happen. So, and
Yeah,
especially in New York or the East Coast where just the rents are fucking ridiculous as it is. Even with a moratorium, I mean, there's at a certain point, it's like, hey, everybody's got to be able to pay something here. So,
yeah, it got a little obscene.
what's the one restaurant you were sad to see go?
I don't know. There was a few. There was a couple nice little like a couple like quiet joints in Boston that were just it was like a good place to go like get like a bowl of ramen or like some nice sushi or something like that and like they were closing left and right. Little like no name hole in the wall places that like we'd go to after work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those places where I mean, they were kind of the definition of restaurants that were like survive paycheck to paycheck kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they were probably floating checks for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no, that's unfortunate because those were the all those places are usually pretty legit, and it's
It was the smallest places and the best food. You know, we could leave. I was like working in Brookline at this place called the Public House for like a great set of owners. You know, this guy David like loved food, loved everything. We did like a barbecue Sunday. We'd have people like coming in just for that on Sundays. And then like, you get to end the shift and go out and like hang out with the guys and go get a fucking bowl of noodles and just wind down from a crazy week, and then all of a sudden that shit wasn't there anymore.
what'd you guys do after that then?
Then it was just like hop on the green line to the red line, go back to go back to Dorchester and hang out.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was pretty shitty.
So tell me about a time when you're cooking and you just kind of question everything, where you're just like, man, am I really in the right spot? Is this my career? Like, should I be looking for something else?
Shit, I think that's happened a couple times. The first time was like when I started in delis, and I just got tired of it. Like the hours, the bullshit. It became a lot. And then when I went to work for Danielle Ballud, it was a whole different animal. It was like, I have to inspect this guy's like parsley chiffonade right now? Like, is this what I want to do? Like, I don't want to be the chef with like the pair of tweezers and like the fancy little shit on the plate. Like, that's just not me, I'm never gonna be a tweezer chef. I'm a fucking bull in a china shop. Like, I come in and if you're in my way, I'm mowing you down. Like that's like I have a very strong point of view on like walking into a kitchen and like to see these cooks that just like have this I don't give a shit attitude. Like, oh, don't worry, like he'll like it's not my job, somebody else will do it.
Oof.
If I did that in any of the restaurants that I worked at, like the places I worked, like none of those chefs picked up a broom or a mop. You know what I mean? You're lucky if you're going to get them out of the office, let alone mop up after you. And these guys are like, oh, he doesn't even help with the floors. He doesn't do this. I'm like, God, give it a rest, dude. Like, this is not how the world works. Like, I broke my balls to like get where I am. And you're here fucking 3 days a week showing up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, what do I care how you feel? It literally doesn't matter to me. Just shut the fuck up and mop.
Yeah. Oh man.
But like working for DB was just like insanity because like he has all these corporate chefs around him, and you have to go in, and they're like, all right, well, it has to be done like this, and it has to be done like this, and like you got to follow around 7 guys that you can barely communicate with because they're either Haitian or, I mean, we had like a bunch of Albanians when I first started there, and nobody spoke English, so it would just have to be like visual demonstrations, like how to chiffonade parsley, how to properly cut the chives. So like Chef Rob didn't come in and like throw everything in the garbage and make you redo it.
So is there like a corporate chef that would just come in before service and do his walkthrough and then leave?
Yeah, so I was like the opening sous. I would come in and I took care of like all the sauces. I managed all that stuff. I had 13 guys in the kitchen, and they all. It was massive. They had like 6 on the weekends. They had like 6 people on garde manger alone.
The restaurant isn't that big.
The line was huge. It like the hot line had 6, and then we had a roundsman that would like jump between and like fill holes, and then we had 6 on garde manger.
Okay.
That whole back room, there's like a chef's table and all that stuff, and like Jim Gaffigan lived across the street and used to come in on like Sundays for like brunch with his family and hang out back there. And then you got 4 cooks just like going in. It was obnoxious. I mean, we would do 300 people for brunch and then like another 300 for dinner, easy on a slow day.
I didn't think it was that big, but obviously I'm wrong. So
it was a decent sized restaurant.
So what inspires you now?
Change. Like I go into every day just wanting to be better. So much of what I see now is like it's like too focused on the show. Like it's a marketing scheme compared to like as opposed to like the actual caring about the cooking.
Right.
Like sure it can look good, but like does it fucking taste good? You know what I mean? Like are you ordering shit product? Like is every fucking delivery coming from Cisco and like they're garbage? You know what I mean? Like we can bleep out Cisco, but they're fucking legit trash. So
I mean, as a broadliner.
It's insane.
I would never order produce from them.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, some of their stuff is fine. I mean, when you're talking about just all your dry stuff, I mean, whatever. But
yeah, chemicals and whatnot. But.
Yeah, I don't think. And every location of them is kind of a little different. But yeah, I wouldn't be ordering any fresh product. Whether that's yeah.
And then to like bastardize it, you like get it. And even if it's like half trash, and you can like make it into something, why order in like massive quantities from Cisco and then like produce this like servable food to like store it in a freezer for 3 months and then pull it out and like quart by quart by quart. Like I've seen chefs do that, and that shit is just so unappealing. And I get it. I get like it's like production based, but it doesn't have to be like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you're starting with quality to begin with, I mean, you're going to have a hell of a lot less waste.
And you downgrade.
Your freezer is going to be smaller too.
Yeah. And at Harley's, we have one chest freezer, and it's for fries. Fries and like I think lobster tails right now for New Year's Eve, but everything else.
Yeah, I'd say last few restaurants I built out. We didn't put freezers in them for anything because for a couple of reasons. One, I also didn't want to deal with like ice cream and desserts, and because I'm like, okay, listen, it's like if to get into that, it's like now you need a dipping well, you need somewhere on the line for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I don't want to fucking deal with that shit.
Nobody wants to.
No, I'm like, hey, listen, there's a great place about a block down.
Yeah.
They make fantastic ice cream. Yeah. Go get yourself an avocado or something.
Yeah.
But no.
Go get yourself an avocado.
Or no, the affogato, the Italian ice cream with the espresso.
Yeah.
Well, you know what though? It's probably an avocado ice cream that they're looking for, though.
That shit is so played out. I'm so fucking tired of avocados. It's like avocado is like the dried parsley on the rim of a plate for me right now. Like it's fucking nauseating to look at. I don't even want to see that shit.
Yeah, you've got your late 80s, 90s plating where every plate had the paprika and the parsley around the rim.
I worked for this lady in Massachusetts, and it was like a breakfast and brunch spot. And like I just got there, and they're like, it was like this sous chef position, and she was like all excited. And I go in, and she's like explaining the garnish and shit to me, and like everything I was like just like it was just like purple kale, purple kale on everything. And then she fucking sprinkles the dried shit around the plate. She's like, I like to call it Yaz Fetty. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you don't name confetti after yourself, let alone fucking like dress a plate like that. Like, just simple is so much easier.
That's good.
Yaz Fetty.
Yes, Fetty.
My buddy Joe will appreciate that because she's like trying to sue him over a hot sauce recipe right now.
Oh, good luck.
She's like grasping for straws desperately.
Yeah, I'm surprised. At this point, her lawyer is just stringing her along for cash. Then,
Yeah, definitely.
because he probably should have told her that when it comes to recipes and intellectual property, like unless somebody signed something that said you own everything I create, or if it hits the menu for whatever reason, you own it. But even then, like, prove it.
No, she can't. I might. She was just asking me if I want to be like I guess get deposed. If I want to like be a character witness or whatever, and like in this whole little lawsuit, I said, sure, sign me up, dude. Because what you like? You know what? I give the guy credit because he took a step back from a restaurant. They stole a bunch of his shit. He went through with all these lawyers and whatnot. And when he sat home waiting for all this to do, him and his wife like made this hot sauce called Sweet Mamas, and they're selling the shit out of it. And they're going to like hot sauce expeditions, and they're winning and winning and winning. And she's jealous. And I know for a fact it's not her recipe.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. And even then, like, if she wants to say it's her recipe, yeah, legally, you only have to change like 1/3 of the recipe to make it unique. So, which is fucking easy to do.
So when I walked in that restaurant, her hot sauce recipe, she had this guy Tony there, who was just like, he was a fucking clown. Like there was no way. He was like, I've been an executive chef for 6 years. I'm like, you're fucking 23, dude. Like you don't know shit about shit. Like you're trying to emulsify fucking stems right now. Like what are you doing? Like fucking strain the sauce. Act like a professional for like 3 seconds. All you taste is hot. You don't taste any flavor whatsoever. It was a mess.
Well, I mean, that's just kind of what everybody looks for these days. You know, everybody just looks for straight heat. Like I don't know any hot sauces out there that I actually enjoy. Like because look at all the peppers that are they were going after, the Carolina Reapers and this and that. Like, okay, outside of putting you in the fucking hospital, what is that really going to do?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, we made sauces like we did a barbecue competition. This restaurant I was with, Smoke Shack Blues, and I named it hot as fuck. And like I had to wear a gas mask, like a whole respirator, just to mix it. You know what I mean? Like wearing like goggles because the fumes were just like massive.
Yeah,
it was like unbearable.
Oh yeah, you smoke out the whole kitchen. Everybody's fucking
it was crazy. We'd make it like come in at 7:00 in the morning and have it on the stove, like just going and simmering in the back. And we'd have to open all the front windows, the doors, the back door, just to like let it all out. Because you couldn't even have a customer walk in the building at 11:00 in the morning because their fucking eyes are burning.
I just love to do that. Huh? Like sometimes you get those little chili vinegar bombs, and then all of a sudden you just hear people like on the other end of the line just you're just like it's like, yeah, talk some more shit.
Exactly. Oh, this isn't that hot. Okay. Wait a second, dude. This one's a fucking creeper. And then all of a sudden they're on the floor.
So you've you mentioned this earlier, but cooking for theater, right? Instead of flavor. And this is kind of an interesting thing because it's all, I don't want to blame social media, right? But there's that, hey, we got to make that Instagram worthy food, but it's got to taste great. And so everything's got to be like, I mean, I remember like, documents and being like, it's, hey, this got to be Instagram picture. Like, oh, the owners, like, well, can we put this picture on Instagram? If this goes to a guest and they take a picture of it, and I'm like, when did Instagram start driving so much fucking traffic for us?
It just did, man. It's crazy because you see, like, I'll go through my Instagram and it's like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, these guys, like, you got these idiots that just go on TikTok and fucking dance, and they're making millions of dollars, and I break my ass. You know what I mean? I break my ass
Yeah.
to fucking bring in a paycheck and like pay for my kids and pay for my apartment and like enjoy my life. And these guys just fucking do nothing. And then you get like it like broke down. Someplace there's just like there was like this fucking massive fallout where it like didn't have to taste good anymore. It was just about like how pretty the plate is.
Well, and it wasn't even how pretty it was. It was like how over the top. Like how ridiculous could it be?
Yeah. Like I
I
don't want
mean,
fucking gold flake on my goddamn dessert. Like get that shit out of here.
or
Like why do we need that?
or what about your 32-ounce tomahawk that's wrapped in gold flake?
Yeah, that's fucking so stupid. It gets so ridiculous and like over the top. Like that's cool, dude. You can like wear sunglasses and like fucking shave your face like Antonio Banderas and sprinkle salt and shit. Like I don't fucking care. What does the steak taste like? What does it taste like? It doesn't need like if it's cooked well, like you don't need all this like bullshit sauce and dude, like we go out to the table with a tomahawk or a porterhouse, we throw an herb butter on it, we'll torch it and like bring it up to temp table side, and that's it, dude. Like that's it. It just needs butter. It needs butter and fucking love. That's it. You just have to like pretend to give a shit for 5 seconds and like fucking cook it properly. Just care about what you're doing, and that's literally it.
Yeah.
These guys are just like, I gotta have like the fanciest fucking chef coat. My apron needs to be tits, and I gotta go out there and I gotta be fucking perfect. You don't, man. Just go in the kitchen, put your head down, and fucking cook. Do your goddamn job. Like you're here to fucking serve the people. It's not about your ego. It's not about a lot of the bullshit. You're here for customers.
And like you said, I mean, it's not about ego, but it's more about just giving a fuck for those 5 seconds. It's like giving a fuck for everything and being
Yeah,
excited about everything.
exactly. Like that's like these cooks that we've been like getting rid of at the restaurant. Like I came in at like the right time. I think I joined the team at Harley's at like the perfect time. It's like Keith's a great guy, and he was running himself ragged, and he had no help. You know, he was like fucking not like treading water, but he was like fighting because like he had a good vision of like where we should go and how to get there, but there was just like missing pieces.
Yeah, there's only so much one
You
person
know,
can do.
I'd like to think that like I stepped in and like at the right time to like help get that forward, and now it's like before it used to be, the kitchen can't keep up with the dining room. Now it's the dining room can't keep up with the kitchen,
There you go.
and
Fuck
like
yeah.
that, and that's now becomes a whole new list of problems to solve because now the kitchen is like where it needs to be, but the front of house staff can't like get their shit together enough. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, have they ever?
Yeah, no, we definitely we do we have some really great servers, but like there was a time where it was like okay, like this one's here for a week and gone. This one's here for a week and gone. And
Yeah.
like people can only work 2 days a week. And it's like, how much do you really give a shit if you're only here 2 days a week? You know?
Well, I mean, the restaurant's just an ATM for them.
Yeah,
They come in, put in their time, walk out with their cash.
exactly. But they're kids. It goes back to that like kids in the kitchen shit. Like they come back and they just like they think that like we're there to serve them. I'm like, that's not how this works, dude. That's not how any of this works. Like we are here to serve the people you're serving. So if we don't all work together, like you're fucked, we're fucked, and like they go home miserable and like with a comped meal.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so many different places I want to go with this because it's it's like, all right, how do we want to unpack this? Because you're right. I mean, there's this new generation that's coming in that is very entitled.
Oh, it's so entitled. It's like It's it's like such a disgusting trait to see that I'm like, I just like question, like, why would you choose this business? Like, if you're not about serving other people, like, why are you here?
Why are they here? I mean, have you
Uh,
asked anyone that?
I ask them all the time, like, what are you doing here, dude?
What do they say?
Oh, I gotta pay for school. What school, dude? You go to fucking school online. Like, get out, do something. Like, fucking do something with your life. This is not like, you get people coming in, they're like the fucking Miami Dolphins, dude. Like, they keep playing football. Like, they know, like, football is not the path they should be taking, but they keep trying.
You a Miami fan then, huh?
No, I'm not. Not at all. Just saying, it's like, do you want to get up and like be the fucking best at what you can be, or do you want to like go in and like half-ass everything? Like, I don't half-ass anything.
Mm-mm.
You know, you get up and like I don't know who the fuck said it. There's some saying about like being in the jungle, like whether you're a lion or a gazelle, like the first thing you do when you wake up is you fucking run. That's the one thing you know that you have to do is you're fucking running. You either running to not be fucking food, or you're running to get food. And like, I'm not gonna be the fucking gazelle.
And thank you for listening to this episode of Inside the Pressure Cooker. If you enjoyed this episode and feel like you're able to take something away from it, please go to Apple Podcasts and rate and review us. If you don't use Apple Podcasts, please follow us, as well as share this episode with a friend. This is a publication by Rare Plus Media, hosted and produced by me. From Rare Plus Media and myself, Chad Kelly, thank you for listening. Keep kicking ass.